this one, or this one, or oops, my bad. Well, my superhero is called Blade. But anyways, who admires the superhero of the Incredible Hulk? Well, today I'm going to be showing you a caricature art drawing that I'll be creating, which is of the Hulk. And so let's get started with that right now. This program, this that I use is the Procreate. And so you click on this circle here to choose different colors. And so I will be starting with black, and I click on the calligraphy and script. Now in caricature art, it doesn't have to be perfect, so that it doesn't have to be exactly the way a character in character design has to be, which is really fun. Now, for the Incredible Hulk, can be, let's say I'll start with, like, imagine, well, have a new layer. Imagine to start with the hair of the Hulk. And then I'll have the head, and you need to have the, this can be really increased size, and doesn't have to be perfect in caricature art. And welcome to my stream. And it doesn't have to be perfect. And see, this is the Incredible Hulk. Doesn't necessarily have to be perfect in caricature art. See, and this can be the eyes. They don't have to be exactly the same. This can be his eyebrows just up here. They don't have to be. See, and okay, and then this is the body. The body can be small, and doesn't have to be just as big as his head, because it's in caricature art. This, I'll make his body small, even though Now, now, rate, rate the, rate, from 1 to 10, what, what how good of the character of the Incredible Hulk is, and if the Incredible Hulk is your type of superhero. Try here like as if he's squeezing a car. The caricature art. Yeah, you have to start with the basic lines, and they don't exactly have to be connected together. Now, as you can see, caricature art is different compared to the no regular type of art that you have to create, that you can create. And do you like the Incredible Hulk in the Avengers movie? Because he's one of the best. I'd say. And
Bye.
oh, sorry about that. Okay. Well, these are the basic lines, and okay, thank you for joining me. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Okay, the next step to this is to add the colors. By adding the colors to this, since that you cannot just add the colors to, you have to go to the circle, and since you know what color the Incredible Hulk is, since you know what color the Incredible Hulk is, you go to this circle and move this smaller circle to choose the colors, the random colors. And since we know what color the Incredible Hulk is, which is green, I'll go to the bigger circle and then smaller circle to choose lighter green or darker green. And so I'll go to the normal on this side, which is the regular green size, the regular color of green. And you can't just, in Procreate, you can't just click and drag like this. And it's going to end up like this. I mean, not like that. Well, it would end up like that because if all the lines here are connected very well, and it would end up like that because all these lines are not connected and there's some openings. So since there are some openings, then you have to open a new layer and put that layer under the part where I just added the sketched, the basic lines. And then I have to, then what, in order to start putting the colors onto the Hulk, you have to go here to the left side and increase the size so I can start coloring. And I'll click on this brush here and change the size, increase. This is how Procreate works, which is a great program, a great app to use. And since this layer is under the layer where all these basic lines are, you can see it's not covering the lines. Can go through like this. This is how you color it. you put the green colors, and then you go to the eraser. And you'll start to be able to get rid of the color that is sticking out from his body. And I had to go through all this just from once I started from my very first drawing on Procreate. And then I start to experiment more. Had to experiment more as I continued to create more artwork on this app of Procreate. And you see how this works really good. And if you see any parts that are still not colored, you go to this brush, and then now I'll go to the eraser and get to this part. And then I'll get back to the brush, which still has the green color and still colors the other rest parts of his body. And this Procreate app really makes artwork so easy. And caricature art, as you learn how to do it, is really, it really makes artwork, digital artwork, so exciting. It doesn't have to be perfect. You can even just grab a photo of someone and do caricature art of themselves. And then that'll make them look not normal and more make them look hilarious. And now I have to increase the size here on the left side. And since I had to increase the size since he has a really huge head. And you see how the procedure works. And you don't have to worry about the lines going on other parts that don't have to be green, because you'll be able to erase it, which I'll show you how, and did show you how earlier. And see his eyebrows here and his eyes. And okay, now you go to the eraser, zoom in or zoom out. You see how it's so easy just to get rid of these parts. Procreate is so simple to use as you continue to experiment with more artwork to draw. And I created caricature art of actual real photos of actors. even actors like Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone, the real legends, legendary actors who I really admire so much. Okay, and I think the drawing is good. Thank you. Thank you for the compliment. Thank you for joining me. Those who are new. Okay, and for his hair, since all of this is black and the basic lines are black, I'm not going to choose black because you want to see. Well, I clicked here on his hair. Well, you can click on certain parts if you want the same color, and it goes here on the small circle. It shows same thing, but then since I don't want that color, then I go to the major circle, and you see how on this part is changing the rest. Then you go to the small circle and see how this really is also useful, very useful. Now, since these basic lines are black, I want to choose like dark gray there. And since you can see that you could say that these basic lines here on his hair are connected, and you don't see any openings like this. Then I can probably just click and drag here. Oh, okay, that's a mistake. Then when that happens, that means that there is a certain part that is probably open. But since I can't really notice where that could part be, then I guess I have to get back to the layer where where I have this color on him. Yeah, you have to click on the same layer and then always have depend and change the size depending on how big or small you're gonna color. For example, his nose. Since I zoom close, I guess I don't have to change the size. So there, it's really simple. Oh, and I want to, let's say, want some parts that are a little bit not colored yet, and I'll click and hold green, and you see now it's colored. Okay, now I'll get to his hair. and get to his hair and get to his eyebrows. And since I have his body, since I have his body already colored, I still have no worries, even though this color have another color going over his his head, because I can still take care of that. See, so it's coloring on his eyebrows and hair over here. And see, this, even though you see here these parts and you did not make any mistakes, you click and hold there. There, that's really easy to take care of. And here, now that the colors are sticking out, you go to the eraser. And sometimes you don't have to minimize or maximize the size. You can just sometimes just zoom in onto the artwork. And there. It's very simple. I want this part here, so I clicked and hold. I didn't have to go to this circle. Just click and hold here. And I see on this basic line that it's kind of ruined, so I'll click and hold here because I want to choose black. And then I have to go back to the layer where the basic lines are. It's just like the layer on top of where all the colors are. And then I can take care of that right here. Just right here. And I'll go to the eraser and perhaps maybe minimize the size, because I want this to be more straight, just like what I see for want the whole circular part of his eyes. And then this part. I'll zoom in still and go and make the basic liner much more, make it correct. See, sometimes you don't have to go. You don't have to go always back to over here where you change the size. You can just sometimes easily just zoom in and out to the artwork. So those are the two options, either minimizing, maximizing the size, or just simply zooming into the artwork or zooming out. So Procreate really has a good way to work, the way you can use it. And the more artwork that you create on Procreate, the more you'll get used to it, and the more way much easier you'll be able to get more nicer artwork created. Yeah, I see a little green here, so I'll go to the layer that has color, and I still am on the eraser, and boom, gone. And okay, next would be the next would be his is the car. I'll make the car. Actually, well, since this major circle is on red, and I want the car to be red, this small circle you click and hold, and then you click and drag on how bright or how dark you want the car. And if you just want it to be, let's say I want it to be a normal color, then I click on two squares, and the coloring layer is. And if I don't want to zoom in, then I maximize the size. That's another way that you can work your artwork out and how you color. Click and hold on his hair. And maybe next is his shorts. I want it to be purple. So I'll get to and I zoom in, and still not going onto the basic lines. I cannot click and drag because I see here there's an opening, and the rest of the purple will make the entire this whole area purple, unless I cover this. But in caricature art, you don't have to necessarily, it doesn't have to be perfect, the basic lines. This makes it just look natural. So you see, in caricature art, it doesn't have to look exactly how how the Hulk looks like in the Avengers movie. This is another fun way to create your own art. And it makes it easier too. So next, I probably want his eyes not just a regular normal color, but more probably since the Incredible Hulk is like the angry type of character, then maybe I'll make his eyes not a normal color, but perhaps choose a color that makes him look horrific. And I'm trying to decide which one that would be. Or perhaps maybe this one. Let's see if that would make this Hulk look angry. Yeah, did you viewers always enjoy the Hulk in the movie? Or did you enjoy different superhero? And the next step, I would say the next step would be, well, I'd say this is not finished. And what would make this look better is adding shadows. Because adding shadows would give the art more details. And that would make your artwork look more professional. So you choose the same color, click and hold in the screen, choose the same color and make that same color darker. And make the same color darker. Then I'll go over to the brush. I'll go over to the classic library. And to give shadows, you go over here to the airbrushing and click on soft brush. Soft brush. And depending on the size of parts of the body of the character, you have to choose on what size, the correct size the shadow has to be. So for this part of his arm, since he raised his arm, you can see here you can see the texture, it's giving more details, and you can tell how the artwork is, how the shadows is giving the artwork now, not making it look so simple, but it's giving you better difference. Oh, and I see a part here. Where's that color? Oh, I'll go to the eraser. Okay, and now I'll continue adding shadows. See, it kind of makes your artwork, makes the character, makes the Hulk look more realistic. When you click and hold, want that color, and see how I color the bottom of his fingers, and you can see how it's giving much nicer color, much nicer design. And okay, I'll add shadows now to his feet. And adding shadows to the artwork make your artwork in digital art much better. and then under his other arm. And I can just simply zoom in instead of just changing the size. I don't have to go there. And now it's the bottom of his, under his fingers. And his neck. And now you can see the shadows are really helpful. So I'll continue with the rest of the shadows on him. And then there'll be something else after this. And the shadows here. Okay. Okay, now I okay, whoever okay, welcome to my live stream. Thank you for joining me. And I'll be continuing here. Okay, now I'll open a new layer. And then I'll click on the brush, go to calligraphy and script. And I'll click on this circle, and now I want to go back to choosing black. And if you want to go definitely to same color exactly black, then you can click on classic also, and it brings you to this whole square. And to double check and to make sure that you reach black, you can move this circle and then go all the way down here. And so now I know now that I am definitely on the color I'm looking for. And you go back to the circle, and it shows that you are on black. Or actually, it's not on black that I want to be on. My mistake. And I want to go on classic and go to white. Okay, and I'll go to disk, back to disk, and it shows I am on white. And since I want to create some lines on him, which is to add more details, the lines will not be on the Hulk himself. The lines will be, it will be on not his body, but on like the objects and the items. So it would be, for example, on his shorts and on the car. It would be on the bright parts. Well, I would go to the squares. Okay, and then I already have the layer open and have the layer on top of where all the colors are. And then I'll minimize the size and still zoom to the parts I want to go. And then it's gonna be like lines, like it will look like as if the lights are shining on him. So